Philly native. Marc Gasol guarded Embiid tougher than any other defender in Embiid's career. Embiid takes it right at Gasol. A couple of possessions later, Embiid, who averages just about 11 a game going head-to-head against Gasol, had 13 in the quarter, and the Sixers led by double digits after the first 12 minutes. 10-point lead. LeBron James coming off an enormous game against Cleveland the other night. 16 in the paint in the first half, tied for his most in any half since joining the Lakers. Down the lane, through the contact. It's a joke. 9 of 13 from the floor in the first half. Third consecutive half with at least 20 points. Ties his longest streak in the last decade. He just refuses to age. Embiid here lands directly on his back, and he's down in pain. Now another look here. You'll see LeBron will get called for the flagrant one as he shoves Embiid while he's in midair. Now, Embiid with his thoughts afterwards.
You look at it, that's a very dangerous play. And I guarantee you that if it was me, I would have probably been ejected.
It is a dangerous play. Guys in the air, you got to be very cognizant of that. Embiid stays on the floor and continues to play at a high level. Buries a three there. Sixers up 7. Danny Green looking to go for his personal three-peat with 3 different teams. One with Toronto, one with the Lakers, and now here playing for Philly. Part of a triple-double for Simmons on the assist. Dennis Schroeder, a knockdown 3. Philadelphia looked like they were going to cruise to a victory. Suddenly it's down to 4, and Doc's not thrilled. LeBron drives, kicks. Contavious, Caldwell, Pope, all 3 of these. It's a 1-point game. After another stop, LeBron feeds a cutting Anthony Davis. He gets to the rim, and the Lakers have a 13-0 lead to take the lead. A 13-0 run, I should say. Tobias Harris hunting his shot, and that's gorgeous. Lakers with no timeouts. The inbound to Davis, who's sort of stumbling. Embiid does a nice job bodying to stop the progress. Doc afterwards, not talking about his team, talking about the team they beat.
They showed at the end of the game like champions. You know, it's hard to kill them. Like, they just keep coming back. They keep believing. They kept making shots. We weathered it, you know. But I don't know. It says that we're a good team. But for me, it says that we're really good, but we still have a lot of work still.
Lakers turned a 12-point deficit into a 1-point lead in that final 3 minutes. Tobias Harris made the go-ahead jumper, something I'm going to talk to Tim Legler about here in just a moment. Philly hadn't scored a single point during that span, and that bucket propels the Sixers to a 10-1 record at home, which is the best.
LeBron being pegged as the MVP favorite.
I mean, it's appropriate. Just look at what he's doing. Forget the fact, Molly, that, you know, it was a short turnaround for us, the offseason, that he played and won the championship, didn't have time to give his body rest, and haven't took a single game off at the age of 36 years old in year 18 with a million minutes on his body. Forget all that. The fact of the matter is, and no disrespect to Joel Embiid, because he's playing at level. No disrespect to Big Jokic down there in Denver, because he's playing at the MVP level. No disrespect to Luka and Paul George and Kevin Durant. But right now, what happened was we got caught up in as being prisoners of the moment, including myself. And guess what? We could thank Jason Hillman in the front office of the Cleveland Cavaliers for waking us up again, because he poked the bear the other night, and LeBron James had to give us a friendly reminder of who the hell he was and what type of season he's having. Here it is, this man is averaging 25 points a game, almost 8 rebounds, almost 7.5 assists, and guess what? They have the best record in the NBA, the number one defense in the NBA. And by the way, guess who's the number one defender in guarding their opponent? LeBron James. So he's delivering on both sides of the floor. And Molly, Steven, Max, this is what I was saying last year when we was debating about him and Giannis. We get caught up, especially you, Max. We get caught up in those analytics. We get caught up in PR and all that stuff that don't even matter. And we determine who our MVP is. Instead of sitting in front of the television, keeping a cool booty, and watching the game with our eyes and watching who has the effect on the game. And looking at what I saw the other night and what he did against the Cleveland Cavaliers, this goes to show me the separation between him and a guy like Giannis. While Giannis is standing in the corner in the fourth quarter, watching Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday take over the game when it's a possession by possession, LeBron James is saying things like, get the hell out the way and let me go for 21 in the fourth and carry us to victory. So with that being said, let me apologize to LeBron James for not even recognizing him and taking him for granted like we have done over the past 2 decades when he should have been winning MVPs multiple years. But at the end of the day, he should be a favorite in a lot of people's eyes because what he's doing right now for the Los Angeles Lakers is phenomenal.
Well, he's among the favorites. I wouldn't say that I'd make him my MVP right now, but understand, I'm the dude saying MVP shouldn't even be given out until the end of the entire season, not just the regular season. Because what we've seen from LeBron in the regular season is he fits in among the top players in the league. Then when the games are most important, we separate everybody and we see what's what. And LeBron is the last man left standing. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about favorite for regular season MVP. And Perk, everything you said about LeBron is true, and he's great too. Of course, he's coming off a 46-point game, 21 in the second half. Joel Embiid hasn't played last couple games. So it's 18 games for LeBron, best record in the league, 14 games for Embiid, best record in the conference. But I still say Embiid is the MVP so far in this regular season. Now, Embiid, not only, you talk about PER and all that stuff, he's leading the league, Perk. Embiid has those numbers, and all PER is you're taking all the stats people like to cite and you're putting them all together. Embiid is up ahead. Well, I mean, you'll say when you say he scored 46 points, when you use PER, it's just another better stat than he scored 46 points. But that's not the point. You eyeball it and see Embiid's been a monster. On defense, I think Embiid's probably been the best defensive player in the league this year. And while what LeBron's doing is more impressive because of his age, right? But we're not talking about his entire career. We're talking about right now. Look at what Embiid is, what he's done, and now take him off the team, right? Those games he missed doesn't affect their record in the conference. They're still leading the conference. But when he doesn't play, they're losing to the worst team in basketball by a lot. They're getting blown out by bad teams without Embiid. And to top it all off, guys, when you talk about impressive, Embiid is doing this in an era where it's almost, a big is not one of the problems with Giannis is he's really a big. He needs another dude who's as good as him, but not a big to win. Embiid is a big who's doing everything. He's doing it all, and he has all those traditional big skills along with new age big skills. So far this year, if I had to vote for MVP, it would go to Joel Embiid.
Joel Embiid is having an MVP caliber season. Ain't nobody trying to throw shade or disrespect him. But the major reason why we're so impressed with him is because we know what he can do, and he hadn't done it on a consistent basis throughout his career, whether it be because of injury or at times appearing disinterested. Whereas now that Doc Rivers is there, and he's got Daryl Morey and Doc Rivers and Elton Brand have shooters surrounding him, with Tobias Harris is playing at a max contract level with Seth Curry, shooting damn near 60% from three-point range, averaging 15 points a game, and all of that other stuff. That has helped, and Ben Simmons has been unleashed. We get all of that. But to me, when you look at LeBron James, listen, Kendrick, I said it at the top of the show. Look at what this brother's doing right now. They got the best record in basketball. They haven't lost a road game. The brother's averaging 25 and nearly 8-8, shooting better than he has ever shot from three-point range at over 41% from threes right now. Defending better than anybody, and he's 36 years old. He's just in cruise control, turning it on whenever he wants to, being basketball's version of the Kansas City Chiefs right now. And so I look at it from that perspective, and I juxtapose that to a Joel Embiid. And what is he doing? Joel Embiid has been great. I understand that. But the only quality team thus far primarily due to injuries on the most part from other teams, along with just other teams being inferior. The only teams that the Philadelphia 76ers have really beaten of quality is the Boston Celtics in back-to-back matchups, and Jason Tatum didn't play either game. And so I pay attention to that, too, because the level of competition actually does matter, Max. Now, KP, you can understand why Max feels the way that he feels about, you know what, when it comes to MVPs, he shouldn't be granted in the regular season because Max barely wants to go to any games. I don't know how many games he watches. The brother's sitting up there and reading stats and talking about PERs and analytics and all of this other stuff. Nobody gives a damn about that when you got a chance to watch these brothers play.
And when you look at defense, I just told you to eyeball it on defense.
Beetlejuice, I listen to you speak, Beetlejuice. Hold on.
Don't put words
and when
in
you
my
look at it
mouth.
from the standpoint of Kevin Durant, the bottom line is you're talking about Kevin Durant averaging over 30 straight off an Achilles tear. That's why I looked at him. But I put Joel Embiid in that conversation. But the fact that LeBron James is there now, he's reminded us of what we must have forgotten. This dude is the MVP. He's something special. And the Lakers are great because of him. Without him, they'd be the New Orleans Pelicans from years ago.
KD deserves to be in that conversation, too. KD's been balling out of control, and I'm not denying that. I'm saying if I had to give it out right now, I give it to Embiid. And by the way, LeBron is playing with AD, who can guard all 5 positions and bring the ball up if you need him to, and that's not even really what he does. Like, AD is great as always. The Lakers are a powerhouse. And when you talk about MVP, number one, we're not talking about the best player in the world. LeBron has proved that. We're not talking about championship aspirations, right? Like, we're talking about who in the regular season has been that so far. Embiid's basically been the best offensive and defensive player so far. What else is there?
Max, that is not true, Max. That is not true. I just told you that LeBron James ranks #1 for as guarding people, for as defensively. So you can't sit up here and just tell us that the sky is green and the grass is blue. I'm not going there.
I'm using
the eyeball. I'm using a combination of both. I'm using a combination of both. I'm using my eyes, and I'm going with the stats. No, analytics is totally different, Max. Analytics is telling you things like, oh yeah, when LeBron and James is on the court with Caldwell Pope, or he's with. Listen, he is the best person right now in the league for us guarding their defender. But here's the thing that I want to get to you, Max, about. Okay, last year when I was arguing with you about Giannis, and I'm not taking nothing from Giannis, he's a hell of a player. But LeBron James was robbed. He was robbed. And everybody that voted for Giannis last year should owe that man an apology. Because I kept telling y'all, don't fall for that. Don't fall for the fool's gold. Don't fall for the 30 points and 12 rebounds. Not you, Stephen A. Not you, Stephen A. He know who I'm talking to. I'm talking to Max Kellerman. Max me anything. I'm going to max you anything right now, goddammit. Listen. LeBron James owes an apology because he was robbed. He was robbed. And for him to be robbed,